Chapter 14. Well, this is it. There's no turning back now. I got through this whacked out day without losing it. In fact, I had a decent time. When was the last time I even thought about my mission? I don't even remember. Julie wandered toward the elevator. The eerie silence of the empty lobby gave her pause. All the shops were closed and dark. Nobody was sitting in the overstuffed chairs and couches or standing by the bar. The fountains had been turned off. There wasn't even anyone at the front desk. She felt a chill around her neck as the elevator doors slowly opened. It wasn't a blast of air. There wasn't somebody lurking behind the shiny steel. What the hell is this all about? I probably drank too much. Cautiously, she stepped lightly into the empty car. Turning quickly to be sure nobody else was behind her, Julie pushed the button for her floor. What the hell is this feeling? Why do I feel so scared? There's nobody behind me. She wrapped her arms around her shoulders and hugged herself to try to warm up, glancing haphazardly around the ceiling of the elevator looking for an air conditioning vent. The elevator chugged slowly up to the 11th floor. God, you would think I was on a local elevator. This is taking forever. She spoke in a firm voice as if to be sure someone heard that she was there. Finally, I thought it was going to be the middle of July before I got off this damn elevator. Where the hell is my key? Julie remembered after a split second of panic that she had put her room key in her back pocket. She stepped off the elevator and started down the hallway. When she reached her room, she took a deep breath. A familiar deep sigh of frustration escaped her lips, and then she slipped the key card in the door. Julie opened the door. She flipped on the light switch, slowly walked into the room, and casually tossed her purse at the end of the bed. What am I doing? What am I doing? She asked herself, this time aloud, as if somebody was there to give her a rational answer. Maybe I have some unfinished business. Maybe I need to do a reality check. Maybe I should think this through a little bit more. Great. Now I'm questioning myself. What else is new? The television was still on as she had left it, and she sat down on the bed up near the pillow, careful not to sit on her laptop. Or maybe she had forgotten it was there. She grabbed the remote control from the nightstand and started flipping through the channels, avoiding local stations where she could. She didn't want to see any local news coverage of a missing persons report on her. She just wanted to numb her mind. I know what I can do. She got up from the bed and wandered over to the honor bar. She opened the door to see if they had any more Canadian Club left. Ah, blessed relief. You would think I had had enough when I was downstairs with all the girls. What did I drink, 6 or 7? It must have been 7. Julie moved a few of the cordial bottles around, but found no Canadian whiskey. There were a few bottles of scotch and gin, a couple of wine coolers, and 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. I guess the Jack Daniels is close enough to Canadian whiskey. I've done worse than this without getting too drunk. What will be the difference anyway? In fact, it'll probably make it easier for me to go through with this. She half giggled to herself, thinking how Morty used to go on a tirade when people made the mistake of calling Jack Daniels bourbon. It's only bourbon if it's made in Kentucky, he would rant, she thought. Well, here's to you, Morty, Jack, and Jim. Beam, that is. Julie downed one of the little airplane bottles in one swallow. It surprised her. Maybe I am a bit of an alcoholic. Nobody left to talk to but me. Oh, and my computer. Where did I leave that sucker anyway? Yoo-hoo, computer, where are you? She half stumbled, half danced back to the bed and hunted under the pillow. It wasn't there. Then she checked under the mattress where she had hidden it the day before. She began to feel her heart racing, her throat closing. Where the fuck is it? Housekeeping, or should I say housekeeping, wasn't in here. No mints. Almost running across the room, Julie grabbed the tote she had used to go down to the pool. It was empty. Shit, where is it? I need to find it. Julie stopped cold. What if somebody discovered it? What if somebody read what I've written? Oh my God, I gotta get out of here. No, that couldn't have happened. Nothing else is missing. What should I do? Should I call hotel security? No, they would want to know too much. Think, you asshole. Where did you leave it? You are always misplacing things. You are such a piece of shit. You don't have any business using up air. I got it. Julie quickly returned to the bed and reached under the pillow on the other side of the bed. The laptop was resting as she had left it, fully charged and cool, ready for her to complete her work. I am such a dunderhead. Sometimes I wonder how I lasted this long, scatterbrain. What was it my mother used to say to me? I'd forget my head if it weren't attached? A nice way of saying what my grandfather used to tell me. Julie, you'd forget your ass if it wasn't tied on. Once again, Julie found herself taking one of those cleansing breaths. Maybe it was her age, maybe not, but she did find herself doing this more and more often. She had picked this up from that yoga class she had tried. She was never sure if she was really out of breath or just in a panic. Or I could have that COPD with all that smoking I do. She turned on the computer, and while it warmed up, she decided to take care of a few other loose ends. She went into the bathroom, relieved herself, and then packed up everything that she had brought from home and everything that she had acquired in the previous 4 days while living the life of luxury in that fancy hotel. How in the hell did I manage to amass so much crap? It doesn't even fit in my cosmetic bag. Grabbing the last of the hotel accoutrements, resting them on her forearm, Julie attempted to navigate her way back to the bedroom. Miniature soaps and shampoos slipping off her arm left a trail like breadcrumbs behind her. Dumping everything on the end of the bed, Julie picked up the tote bag that she had thrown on the floor a moment ago when she was frantically looking for her laptop. She stuffed everything into the bag and then traced her steps back, picking up each item she had dropped along the way. I feel like Gretel trying to find my way home. Why the hell am I packing this shit? I won't even be around to use it anyway. Her next mission was to pack the remainder of her clothes, most of which were dirty. She had only hand-washed 1 or 2 items since she had checked in, so most of her clothes were in the plastic hotel laundry bag in the corner of the closet. She stopped again, remembering Morty. When they had taken the girls to the Smoky Mountains for a mini vacation one year, he had gone to the front desk to ask for a large plastic bag to use for dirty laundry, and the clerk was almost indignant. He asked him, "For free?" Julie laughed out loud. God, Morty, you must have told that story 1,000 times. She paused for a second and thought to herself, I think I wouldn't mind hearing it right now. Julie had to shake her head. Like a dog coming in from the rain, she had to jar herself back to the task at hand. I'm not doing this. I'm not turning back. I'm not going to start reminiscing about all the good times that will morph into a moment of weakness that will send me hurling back into that abyss of emptiness. She did stop to glance at her wedding ring, but only for a moment. Stop it. You know nothing is going to get better. He'll be attentive for as long as it takes for him to feel better, and then it will go right back to the way it was. After all these years, after all these chances, he hasn't got a clue. He hasn't learned a thing. He has no idea who I am. Julie picked up the bag and jammed everything as is into the small rollerboard suitcase she had brought with her. She then crammed the cosmetic bag beside it. She stood back and admired her work for a split second and then realized she had forgotten shoes, most of which were strewn around the room and in the closet. I guess I do have a little bit of the shopping bug in me. Why the hell would I have brought 4 pairs of shoes, along with sneakers and sandals, if I was only going to be here 2 or 3 days? She was starting to feel the effects of her imbibing. That, coupled with the hour, found her swaying and stumbling over to the closet to retrieve the rest of her belongings. On her return, she gave in to the sway and fell face first into the bed. Julie's giggle was muffled by the soft blanket. She stayed supine for only a few seconds as the room began to spin around her. When the spinning began to affect her stomach and she began to think her dinner was going to have a return engagement, she slid down off the side of the bed to the floor, still giggling. Oops, that's not good. Julie grabbed the blankets and pulled herself back up to her feet. I better get this done and get going before I pass out completely. Now, where are those shoes? Half of them miraculously made their way into the suitcase during her fall. The rest were on the bed and on the floor at her feet. She gathered them all and tamped them down in every nook and cranny she could find. Her attempts at closing the zipper were in vain, however. She tried leaning on it. She tried sitting on it. She put the suitcase on the floor and tried to kneel on it, losing her balance and falling again. By now, she was laughing hysterically. Now I know why people get drunk a lot. I'll just do this later. Julie kicked the suitcase to the side of the nightstand and plopped down on the bed, sliding the laptop in front of her. It was up and running and the last document was open and waiting. Do you want to start where you left off 5 hours ago? It said in the little box on the bottom right of the screen. Well, I don't rightly know. Where do you think I should start? Where do you think it should end? I think it should end soon, don't you? I mean, I've been dragging this out for days. Julie's outburst had started out silly and sarcastic, but quickly sank into depressed and despondent. I guess I'm not a silly drunk or a sloppy drunk, just a sad drunk. Speaking of which, what else was left in that bar? Julie got another drink. This time she used a glass and nursed the drink while she read back what she had already written in her note. Well, I've said what I wanted to Morty. I guess I really need to say my goodbyes to the girls. This was the one thing I really didn't want to do. Oh well, here goes. Julie slowly began to type what would essentially be her last words to her daughters. She had read so many articles and papers about the children of parents who had committed suicide. This one factor was why it had taken her this long to get to this point. The one person she had dared to talk with about this topic would always use the kid card as a reason not to do it. She also would opine on the sanctity of human life. She, however, wasn't living inside my head. My dears, Allie and Sophie, please don't let this alter the path of your lives. Both of you have been blessed with health, beauty, brains, savvy, and bright futures. You have strong, healthy marriages, beautiful, well adjusted children, and a wonderfully strong sense of who you are and where you want to be. Don't ever lose that like I did. Please don't ever think that my choice had anything to do with you, other than the fact that I didn't want to hurt you any more than I already have. This is not on you, it's fully and completely on me. If you ever lose your way, and I am confident you won't, but if you do, ask someone to help you find your way back. For me, I was long past the point of no return. There was no way back. Keep fighting to make the world a better place. Tikkun olam. I'm sorry. I love you, Mommy. Julie stopped typing. The aluminum glow of the screen reflected off her glasses as she read back what she had just written. She sat frozen in front of the computer. A lump formed in her throat. She swallowed hard. My baby girls, I don't want to hurt you. Please don't be mad at me. I'm not as strong as you are. Julie began to weep softly and then fell back against the pillow. Several minutes passed. Julie had closed her eyes as the tears were full on and streaming down the side of her face to her ears and onto the pillow. The hum of the television was monotonous, lulling her off to sleep.